Hey everyone, if you're loving these real-life stories of shocking betrayals and clever revenge, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. On my wedding day, I decided to pull a cute little surprise on my new husband by hiding in the closet of our honeymoon suite. But when he finally came in and started whispering sweet nothings to another woman on the phone, promising her the world while I listened in horror, what I overheard next shattered my entire life. Was my perfect marriage built on the biggest lie imaginable? Stick around till the end, because the revenge that followed will leave you speechless. My name is Sophia Reynolds, and this happened just a few years ago in sunny Charleston, South Carolina. I was 32, a graphic designer working for a boutique firm downtown, and I'd always dreamed of a classic Southern wedding, magnolia flowers, a historic venue on the waterfront, and marrying the man who felt like my soulmate. His name was Ethan Harper. We met at a rooftop bar in Charlotte during a girls' trip. He was there for a tech conference, charming as hell with that easy Southern drawl, dark hair, and eyes that crinkled when he laughed. He was 34, a software sales rep who traveled a lot, always bringing me little gifts from places like Austin or Denver. We dated for 2 years, got engaged on a beach in Hilton Head at sunset. Picture perfect, right? The wedding was everything I'd planned. St. Paul's Cathedral for the ceremony, then a reception at the old Boone Hall plantation. String lights, live oak trees draped in Spanish moss, shrimp and grits, low country boil, and a band playing everything from Motown to country. I wore a lace gown with a long train. Felt like a princess. Ethan looked handsome in his navy tux, grinning the whole day. After the reception, we headed to our honeymoon suite at a luxury hotel overlooking the Charleston Harbor. Everyone was cheering as we left, rice flying everywhere. I was exhausted but buzzing with excitement. Ethan said he had to grab something from the car and would meet me upstairs. I thought, perfect, time for my prank. I'd seen this idea online. Hide in the closet, wait for him to come in looking for me, then jump out with a silly boo or something romantic. I giggled to myself as I slipped into the massive walk-in closet, still in my wedding dress, the tulle pooling around me on the floor. The suite was gorgeous. King bed with white linens, balcony doors open to the ocean breeze, champagne chilling. I waited, heart pounding with anticipation. Minutes turned to what felt like forever. Then the door clicked open. Footsteps, his loafers on the hardwood, but instead of calling my name, I heard him lock the door. Then his voice, low and hushed. "Hey, baby. Yeah, I'm finally alone. The wedding's over. She's probably passed out from all that champagne." My stomach dropped. Who was he talking to? He laughed softly. "No, everything went smooth. Mom handled the family stuff perfectly. You know how persuasive she can be." Mom? His mother, Margaret? She lived in Savannah, always sweet to my face, but I'd caught her side-eyeing my job, saying things like, "Bless your heart, working so hard when Ethan makes good money." He continued, pacing the room. I could see his shadow through the slats. "Listen, Courtney, we've talked about this. Once we're settled in the new house in Mount Pleasant, yeah, the one I convinced her to put in both names, but mostly funded with that bonus from work, we'll wait a year tops. Then I'll start picking fights, say we're drifting apart. Mom will back me up. Tell everyone how unhappy I seem." Courtney? My blood ran cold. Courtney was his work friend from the Atlanta office. He'd mentioned her casually, shown me a group photo once. Brunette, pretty, always liking his posts on social media. He whispered, "The house will be mine in the settlement. South Carolina laws favor the breadwinner, especially with a prenup that protects my assets. She'll walk away with nothing much, thinking it's fair. Poor things from that modest family in Columbia. Dad's a school principal, mom a nurse. They don't have lawyers on speed dial like we do." None of that was... Wait, my parents lived in a nice suburb of Columbia, sure, but Dad wasn't just a principal. He owned a chain of private schools across the state, quietly successful. We weren't flashy. Our modest lake house was actually a second home. I never bragged because I hated gold diggers. But Ethan had pushed for the Mount Pleasant house, saying it was an investment, insisting on joint title for trust. Now it clicked. He'd researched my family, assumed we were middle class at best. And the best part, he chuckled, Mom's already planting seeds with my aunts, saying Sophia's sweet but not quite our level. When the divorce hits, everyone will side with me. You and I can finally be together openly. That little beach condo in Qley Island, it'll be ours for weekends. I pressed my hand over my mouth, tears soaking my veil. The man I just vowed forever to was plotting to steal my home, the one I'd put the down payment on from my savings, and leave me broke, all for some affair? He ended the call with, "Love you more, Court. See you next week in Raleigh. Tell your husband it's another conference." Silence. Then he sighed, sat on the bed, the mattress dipping inches from the closet door. I held my breath, body shaking. He muttered to himself, 1 year of playing house, worth it for the payoff. After what felt like eternity, he went to the bathroom, shower running. I slipped out quietly, grabbed my phone from my purse, heart pounding. I'd started recording audio when I hid, meant for the prank reaction. Now it had captured everything. I changed into yoga pants and a hoodie from my suitcase, wiped my face, and sat on the balcony, pretending to scroll when he emerged. "Hey, beautiful wife," he said, kissing my neck. "Ready for our wedding night?" I forced a smile. "Tired, babe. Long day. Maybe just cuddle?" He pouted but agreed. As he fell asleep, I lay awake, mind racing. No way was I letting this happen. The next morning, sunlight poured through the balcony doors, painting the room gold. Ethan woke up first, stretching like everything was perfect. He leaned over, kissed my forehead, and whispered, "Good morning, Mrs. Harper. How's my beautiful wife feeling?" I smiled sleepily, hiding the storm inside. "Amazing. Best day of my life." My voice sounded steady, almost believable. He grinned, hopped out of bed, and headed for coffee downstairs at the hotel cafe. The second the door clicked shut, I grabbed my phone. That recording, crystal clear, every damning word. I emailed it to myself, then to my best friend Ashley, who also happens to be a family law attorney in Colombia. I texted her, "Emergency. Call me when you're alone." She rang 10 minutes later. "Soph, what's wrong? You're on your honeymoon." I played the recording. Silence on her end, then a low whistle. Holy hell, this is marriage fraud, Soph. South Carolina recognizes equitable distribution, but with intent to defraud proven, he could lose everything. That house in Mount Pleasant, you put the down payment, right? 20% from my inheritance after Grandma passed. He kept saying joint title was romantic for our future. "Romantic my ass," Ashley muttered. "That's premeditated. We can freeze transfers, file for annulment on grounds of fraud. But listen, don't tip him off. Act normal. Gather more if you can. I'll start pulling case law." I hung up, heart racing. Ethan came back with lattes and croissants, chatting about breakfast on the balcony, maybe a carriage tour later. I nodded, laughed at his jokes, even let him feed me a bite of pastry. Inside, I was ice. We checked out that afternoon and drove to our new house in Mount Pleasant, a cute 3-bedroom craftsman with a wraparound porch, live oaks in the yard, close enough to the beach to smell salt air. I'd fallen in love with it instantly. Now it felt poisoned. The first few days, I played the blissful newlywed, cooked his favorite shrimp etouffee, hung our wedding photos, wore the new lingerie he'd packed, all while secretly documenting everything. I set my phone to record whenever he took calls in his office. He thought I was designing logos in the living room. Really, I was listening. One evening, about a week in, he stepped onto the back porch for better signal. I followed quietly, hid behind the azaleas. "Yeah, Mom, she's settling in fine. No clue. Courtney's asking when we can move things forward, but I told her patience." He laughed. "Exactly. Let her get comfortable, think this is forever. Then we start the slow drain. Separate accounts, little arguments. You'll tell everyone how she changed after the wedding, got distant. Classic." His mom's voice carried faintly. "Good boy. That down payment was a gift to the marriage, not her separate property. We'll prove it." I recorded every word. My hands shook, but I stayed silent. That night, I called my dad from the guest bathroom, door locked, shower running for noise. "Daddy," I whispered, tears finally coming. "I need you." He listened without interrupting. When he finished, his voice was steel. "Princess, you come home any time, but if you want to fight, I'm behind you. Your grandma's money, that's yours alone. I have the trust documents, and those schools I run, worth more than that boy's entire company bonus history." "I know, Dad. I trusted him." "Trust is expensive. Lesson learned. Now we protect what's yours." He promised to scan and send every financial record I might need. Over the next 2 weeks, I built my case quietly, moved money from our new joint checking into an old account Ethan didn't know about, forwarded bank statements to Ashley, even photographed the closing documents where my name was primary on the mortgage. His income qualified us, but my cash made it happen. Ethan started small jabs, testing. "Babe, why's the thermostat so high? Bills add up." Or, "Maybe ease up on the credit card. We're building a life here." I'd smile sweetly. "Of course, honey, whatever you think." Inside, I was counting days. Then came the perfect opening. Ethan mentioned his mom wanted to visit, help us decorate, bring housewarming gifts from Savannah. I jumped at it. "That's sweet. Let's have her for dinner Saturday. I'll invite Ashley and her husband too. Make it a little celebration." He hesitated, probably didn't want witnesses, but agreed. "Sure, Mom loves Ashley." Saturday arrived. I spent the day cooking real low-country food: crab cakes, okra gumbo, she-crab soup, pecan pie from scratch. The house smelled amazing. Fresh peonies on the table, candles lit. Margaret arrived in pearls and a linen dress, air-kissing me. "Sophia, darling, what a charming home." Ashley and her husband Mark showed up right after, bearing wine. We ate, laughed, talked wedding stories. Ethan relaxed, thinking everything was fine. Then dessert. I stood, glass in hand. "Everyone, I want to thank you for being here. Family means everything." I smiled at Margaret, then Ethan. "And honesty, well, that's the foundation, isn't it?" I pulled out my phone, set it on the table, pressed play. Ethan's voice filled the room. "Once we're settled in the new house, we'll wait a year tops. Then I'll start picking fights. The house will be mine in the settlement. Poor things from that modest family." Margaret froze, fork halfway to her mouth. Ethan went white. "Sophia, what the hell?" The recording continued. Courtney this, Mom that, every ugly detail. When it ended, dead silence. Margaret recovered first. "This is taken out of context, edited clearly." Ashley leaned forward, voice calm but sharp. "Actually, Margaret, it's time-stamped, and I've heard the full chain. Sophia's retained me." She slid a folder across the table. Divorce petition, asset freeze request, fraud allegations. Copies of the trust showing my down payment as separate property. Ethan stared at it like it might bite him. "Baby, please, we can talk privately." "No," I said quietly. Everyone heard. "We're talking right here." Margaret stood abruptly. "This is absurd. Ethan, we're leaving." "Actually," Ashley added, "you might want to sit. There's more. Phone records showing months of calls to a certain Courtney in Atlanta. Hotel charges during conferences." Mark cleared his throat. "Soph, we're gonna head out. Call if you need anything." They hugged me on the way out. Now just the three of us. I looked at Ethan, the man I'd loved, planned a life with. "Pack a bag. You're staying at your mom's tonight. Papers will be filed Monday. The house stays with me. My money, my name first on everything. You want to fight? We'll go to court. That recording plays for a judge." He opened his mouth, closed it. Tears? Maybe. Didn't matter. Margaret grabbed his arm. "Come on, son." They left without another word. The door shut softly behind them. I stood in the quiet kitchen, pecan pie cooling on the counter, candles flickering. My hands shook, but not from fear anymore, from power. That night, after they left, I didn't sleep. I walked through the house room by room, touching the walls I'd painted soft gray, the kitchen island where I'd planned to host Thanksgiving, the porch swing we'd picked out together at a flea market in Savannah. Every corner held memories that now felt like lies. By dawn, I'd boxed up his clothes, his gaming console, his cologne, everything, and left the cartons neatly stacked in the garage. Monday morning, Ashley filed the papers, petition for annulment based on fraud, plus a temporary restraining order on the house and joint accounts. By noon, Ethan was served at his office downtown. He called me 17 times. I let it ring. Tuesday, he showed up at the door with flowers and that hangdog look he used to pull when he forgot date night. Soph, please. It was stupid talk, cold feet. I don't even feel that way anymore. I stood in the doorway, arms crossed. You planned to take my home, Ethan, my grandmother's money. You lied for months. That's not cold feet, that's calculated. He tried tears. I'll sign whatever you want, just give me a chance. No. I closed the door, locked it, and for the first time in days, I breathed. The annulment went through faster than anyone expected. South Carolina doesn't love fraud, and with the recordings, the bank trails, and Ashley's sharp preparation, the judge ruled in my favor without even needing a full hearing. The house stayed mine, sole title restored, mortgage refinanced in my name only. Ethan got nothing but the clothes in those boxes and a bruised ego. Margaret tried once, through a mutual friend. She's blowing this out of proportion. Families work things out privately. The friend told her to get lost. Word spread quietly through Charleston's circles, the wedding guests, his co-workers, our neighbors. No one confronted him directly, Southern style, but invitations dried up. Courtney's husband found out, apparently from a forwarded recording someone accidentally sent. Last I heard, she moved back to Georgia and their marriage was circling the drain. 6 months later, I was sitting on that same porch swing with a glass of sweet tea when Dad pulled up in his truck. He climbed the steps, handed me a thick envelope, and sat beside me. "What's this?" I asked. He smiled, eyes crinkling. "The schools, all 12 locations, the real estate, the endowment. I'm retiring next year, Soph. It's yours if you want it." I stared at the papers, trusts, deeds, valuations in the 8 figures. "Dad, I'm a graphic designer." "You're my daughter," he said simply. "You're smart, you're tough, and you just outplayed a con man without breaking a sweat. The board already loves you. You spoke at the last fundraiser, remember? They saw what I see." I laughed through sudden tears. "You planned this?" "I hoped. Your grandma always said you had her fire." He hugged me tight. "Take your time deciding. No pressure." I took it. A year later, I stepped in as CEO of Reynolds Education Group. Turns out, designing logos and branding private academies aren't that different, just bigger budgets and more tuition checks. I kept the Mount Pleasant house, but turned the guest room into an office overlooking the marsh. On weekends, I'd drive to the lake house Dad forgot to mention was actually a 6-bedroom on Lake Murray with a boat dock. Ethan had once called it cute but small after seeing photos of the old family cabin we used for holidays. He never knew the difference. Sometimes friends ask if I'm dating again. I smile and say, not yet. Truth is, I'm good. Really good. I travel, New Orleans for Jazz Fest, Asheville for the Leaves, Italy last spring with Ashley and a bottle of Prosecco on the Amalfi Coast. I bought myself a little convertible, red, because why not? The wedding dress? I donated it to a charity for brides in need. Felt right. Someone else should get the fairy tale without the nightmare attached. Every now and then, Ethan texts, "Hey, hope you're well," or "Saw your company in the news, proud of you." I read them, feel nothing, and delete. He's renting an apartment in North Carolina now, switched jobs after the gossip hit his sales members.
Margaret sold her Savannah condo and moved to Florida, so the rumor goes. I don't hate them anymore. Hate takes energy, and I'm too busy living. That prank in the closet on my wedding night, it didn't ruin my life. It saved it. Showed me exactly who I was when the mask came off someone else's face. I'm Sophia Reynolds, daughter, sister, friend, CEO, survivor, and I'm stronger, wealthier, and happier than they ever imagined I could be. If there's one thing I learned, it's this. Never let anyone underestimate you based on what they think they see. The quiet ones, the sweet ones, the girls from modest families, sometimes we're just waiting for the right moment to show our teeth. And when we do, we bite hard.